Ready? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April 23rd meeting of the Hyde Park Zoning Board of Appeals. We'll start this evening with our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Everybody stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we begin, I want to welcome the newest member to our board, April Daly. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are delighted to have you here, and we look forward to working with you. Let's start with continuing the public hearing. Hotling, is there? I would move to open the public hearing.
I'll just state for the record that notice of the public hearing was published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 16th, 2025.
Good. Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion to open.
There was a motion to open. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Where is Hotling? Here we are.
My
evening.
neighbor has a couple questions. Do you want to start with them first?
Why don't we just review the
Okay.
two variances, and then we'll ask the gentleman to
Okay.
make some, we'd like that, we'd appreciate that. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you state for the record your name again?
Yes, my name is Marie Welch
I'm gonna
from Welch
move the mic-
Surveying.
Move the microphone
I
just
have one
a...
right here.
Oh, you got one right here, okay.
I don't need to. I can be loud enough, I don't need any.
Okay, all right, good, good. Tell us again, you're asking for two variances.
We are asking for two variances. As you are aware, or if you're not, because you may be new to the board, Mr. Hotelling has several buildings on his property at 7 Beck Road, and a couple of them are too close to the lot lines, and so we're here to request variances to get relief from the zoning law that says that they need to be a certain distance from the property line, 25 feet in this case on the north side and 50 feet on the west side. He is currently before the planning board for a lot line alteration to add a 0.10 strip of land to his north property line, which gives quite a bit of relief, so that now instead of asking for a variance of 1.4 feet, which he would have required, we'll be able to ask for a variance of 18.6 feet, or 18.7, I forget which exact number. I know I was rounding, on the north side, and it would make the current building that's on there that's substandard, non-conforming, existing non-conforming, bring that into more conformity as well. And on the west side, there's a pool with a pool house and a deck, and one corner of the deck is 1 3/10 too close to the property line, or 1 4/10.
It's about a half a foot, is that correct?
Pardon me?
Is it about a half a foot too close?
No, about 1.5 feet.
A foot and a half. Is there
Yeah.
any way to reduce the deck?
Yeah, I could. I mean, if that, it's an overhang, but I mean, if you want, I could cut it. I'll cut it. I could knock the whole thing down tonight.
It's not, it's
Tobacco.
it's not a
Then we wouldn't
significant
have to worry
variance.
about it, but.
Yeah, we're not asking for a significant amount,
Yeah.
a significant
But if we
relief.
had to, we could cut it. If you really, really wanted it, we could cut it.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Any question on that? I think cutting it would be good.
Yeah,
Okay,
If we just get it to the 25 foot,
right.
which I think is 1.5 feet or something like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
just
if it's cut, then we don't need a variance for that. Is that correct?
that would eliminate that variance if that's what you're seeking to do
I'll cut
here
it.
this evening. Okay.
I'll have
Okay.
her mark it out, and I'll
Okay.
take the chainsaw to it. We'll cut it. We'll be all done.
Okay.
So then we are dealing only with the variance, which is the 25 feet as opposed to 50 feet, and within the 25 feet on the north side.
Can we add north in there someplace?
Well, then, there's a north arrow on the upper left-hand corner of the map.
The words.
Oh, the
Ma-
words.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You mean in the resolution?
Yes, I would make a motion that we add north property line following side yard, comma.
It is, sorry, just to be
It is?
clear.
The north property line is a side yard,
That's
the east
for the
property line is
pool.
the road side.
This is the
Oh,
25.
okay.
Yep. North property line, yep.
You
I
okay?
stand corrected.
Okay.
And we can change it?
No, no, okay. Okay, so with that, we did make another site visit and looked at the property.
Sorry, I just want to clarify for the record. So there's still two variances needed here, correct? One is for the addition of the block garage?
The addition of the metal building to the block garage, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and that would be the 18.6 where 25 feet is required.
Yes.
And then the second is the northern property line for the buffer, correct?
I'm sorry, the northern property line?
The buffer, the.
Well, no, we can
backyard
actually
buffer.
give the buffer of the, for the yard.
No, not on the north, Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's 14.9 feet at its closest point.
Well, those are accessory buildings. The lean-to and those two trailers
Or accessory.
are accessory because they're lower than the,
Sure, they would fall under the 25.
they were within the 12 and a half foot. They're more than 12 and a half feet, which is all that's required for an accessory building.
Yes.
We discussed that at the site
Yeah.
visit. Yeah. The attorney wasn't there.
Counselor, you all right with that?
Yeah, I'm just reading through. So I have here, whereas the applicant seek an area variance from zoning law section 108-25.4C scrapyard standards to allow decreased scrapyard setback of 14.9 feet at the closest point and as close as 25 feet along the northern property line.
Yeah, that's what, I didn't quite understand that either. I know that the secretary had rewritten that,
Okay.
and I wasn't quite sure, but, I mean,
Ted, could I ask you to weigh in on?
On the 14.9?
Yeah.
What paragraph is it?
It is the fifth whereas paragraph.
none of that northerly portion of the property is used for the scrapyard. I mean, there's nobody's parking the car. You've got the septic system, the house, the buildings. So really, the only thing up there is parking for the used car sales and the scrapyard sales.
Is
So-
the 14.9 valid, or should that be 18.6?
No, that 14.9 distance is correct. That's not the corner we're asking for relief from. It's the corner of the hatched-in building, which you may, so we have 18.6 is from the actual metal building, which is higher than the 15 feet, which is, now it's not an accessory structure, it's a structure.
Correct.
So the building we're asking for relief from is the 18.6.
Okay. And as far as you're concerned, that's the only variance needed at
I
this
think
point?
so. Well, because with the other one we were asking for, we're going to deal with taking the corner off the deck.
Correct. Okay.
So,
So this one.
Yeah, because I had 3 here, so that's
yeah, I
what I'm trying
didn't,
to figure out.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand that when I read it myself, and I just said, we'll fix it. We'll
On
get
that
it straightened out.
paragraph,
Yes.
Sarah, I'm eliminating, because I'm reading
Yep.
soon. Am I eliminating the one where it says the scrapyard setback?
That's what we're trying to figure out
All
right
right,
now,
so let me know when
just to confirm. But right now, the fourth paragraph is eliminated.
1, 2, 3. Where it
For the
says,
pool deck, because the applicant has represented that he's going, rather than seek the variance, he's going to cut back the pool deck by the 1.5 feet.
this is a pool deck.
This is
Pool deck is the
24
fourth.
inches.
Yep.
This one
And a
here.
half is the-
Oh,
So
Put
that's-
that on an angle?
Yeah, because your deck is not square.
That's
Right,
right.
so it's-
That's right. It'll be a little- Yeah. Like you said, I can measure it out. I
Oh,
can
yeah,
mark it
that's
out
right.
for you.
This-
I can
this one
actually
here.
do it, calculate it, and tell you how far it come up to this line, and how far it come up to
Okay,
that line.
all right.
Okay.
All right.
So are we clear at this point?
Yeah.
I gotta,
Yes, thank you. Yes, that one's removed, and then this is the one I'm questioning. Yeah. What's this 25? Because there's a 50-foot setback, right? And then let's see. Right, accessory. And then this. Okay. Coming out. Okay, so we're gonna remove this paragraph as well.
This is the one giving the variance to. These are ancillary. And they're still within the 12.
They're still within
12 and a half feet.
Okay, so
Instead of the 20.
because it's considered accessory to that, then yes,
the,
okay.
does that make sense?
So we worked it out.
Okay.
It's accessory
For the benefit of the board, we are removing the fourth and fifth whereas clauses.
Oh, the fifth too?
And fifth?
Yes.
Why the fifth?
Because a determination has been made by the zoning administrator that that garage is accessory to the car sale use. It is not part of the scrapyard use. The
accessory.
the buffer is applicable to a scrapyard use.
Right, so I understood the setback distance changed as a result of that, right? The required setback? So from
Right,
50 it
so,
went
so
to
the
25.
50-foot required setback is no longer applicable because it's
Understood.
not a scrapyard use.
And the new and so now 25 feet is
And it's
applicable.
within the it meets the setback requirements for the,
Well, at one point, where it says as close as 25 feet along the north property line, but there's still a 14.9 foot
yeah, at the
setback, right?
closest
So
point.
that's still a
So-
variance,
so-
isn't it?
That paragraph would be required if the building was utilized for scrapyard purpose.
Well, but 14.9 is less than 25, right? So it's not meeting the 25-foot requirement. Am I misunderstanding that?
No, that's an auxiliary, and
So-
an
so the
auxiliary is
25
half of the 25, or 12 and a half.
Accessory, that,
Accessory.
There's a 50-foot setback from the scrapyard, and there's a normal bulk regulation setback of 25 feet.
Right.
Oh,
And that's the
Ted,
one I'm
can you
questioning.
grab a mic? Sorry.
Right, because the
But
50
the-
foot's
the-
no longer applicable because it's not a scraps yard standards, or not applicable to scrapyard
So
standards. But
as
the
I
20
as I understand it, the storage in those containers is related to the fixing of the cars in here and the car sales. So this is an accessory
So right now, we're
use,
talking about this.
and
We are reducing
what's
the 50
normally
to
required is the
25.
25 feet
And I don't see anything.
for a yard setback, and it should actually be 12 and a half, so
So
for a
it's an
normal bulk
accessory
yard
building.
setback, bulk
So this
regulation
is-
setback.
No, go ahead, but I'm
So
saying,
it is compliant.
It's fine. You don't need a
oh, they
variance for that.
don't need a
Okay.
variance because-
Correct.
Because they have
Thank you.
50 feet?
No. So
Sarah, 4 and 5, I'm eliminating.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
so just to try
Okay, so
to
clarify.
state this simply, TAD has determined that the garage is being used not for a scrapyard purpose. The 50-foot setback is the required setback for a scrapyard.
Okay,
Because it is not a scrapyard, it just has a normal 25-foot setback for the property. Because it is an accessory building, that gets halved.
okay.
And they meet the 12 and a half feet that would be required for the setback.
Okay, so we could give them the variance based on that.
So they do no longer need that
Right.
second variance. So the only variance that this particular application needs is that third whereas clause, the setback for the addition to the block garage, which is at 18.6 feet, where 25 feet is required.
Okay, all right.
I have one question. That north boundary, I'm satisfied. The other three, don't we have to say that it's okay to have 25 feet?
No, they have 50 feet.
no, we went over that, that's existing, pre-existing, 25 feet. It's been 25 feet
Oh,
for
And there have-
forever.
so
Right.
And
So
there
we're
have
not
been
asking
no
for a new
changes.
change to that.
Okay.
It's been 25.
So we don't have to give them a variance for that?
No.
Pre-existing. Excellent. Thank you. Now I
Okay.
Okay,
I may want to read this one out. I'll have someone motion and move in second, but I'll probably read this one out because I'll be making amendments.
You want
to
to
the
read
language.
that? You want to read that?
Yeah, if I could just
Good for you.
take a
You
moment.
have some discussion.
yeah, okay.
Sarah, hold on.
Is there, there's a gentleman from the public? Do you want to come forward, please? grab one of those.
So that's in here.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And your name, please?
My name is Dale Blue, and I live over on Dutchess Hill Road.
Okay.
Have for 20-plus years. I am the owner of the abutting property, the woodlot there, and
That is
so-
to the west of his property.
to the west of the property.
Okay,
correct.
all right.
Yes. So, just let me. I kind of thought how I was going to go about this. So I've been there for 20-plus years, and I just want to start off by saying Al has been a good neighbor. And I further commend him a little bit for seeking me out before the meeting to try and work out some of these details or answer some of my questions. So, as I explained to Al, I have only the benefit of the map and the code that's on your website. So there are things that don't make sense to me, and I'm going to ask questions, a few questions that you may have already answered. I'm also hard of hearing.
Join the crew.
Yeah, okay. But I just, clarity is good for everybody. It's good for Al, it's good for me. So my questions are all pertinent to the property line between Al and myself. None of the other stuff is any of my business. So greenbelt regulations are the front and backyard have to be 50 feet. And so I would represent the backyard for his property. Now, it's a little more complicated than that because he half makes use of it as a scrapyard and half makes use of it as residential. For the residential portion, I understand that the setbacks go down 25 for accessory buildings. That took care of the pool. Al just took care of the pool. You guys have reached something that's no longer an issue for me.
Okay.
But the 50 foot, why is everything 25 when half of this is scrapyard? Now, Al gave me an explanation, but I really need to hear what you guys have to say.
If I may, the code changed from when Al obtained his license to the current requirement of 50 feet. It previously was 25. So the setbacks, the 25-foot setback has not, how do I want to say this? I'm doing this backwards, I'm sorry.
I'll jump in if you don't mind. He's considered a pre-existing non-conforming use. So because he was permitted prior to the code change to have setbacks at 25 feet, he's allowed to continue that as long as he doesn't further expand into
Doesn't
it.
change.
And meet other certain limitations within the code.
Okay.
So he can continue as long as he likes, as long as he does not violate.
Expand the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That makes sense to me. I'm a logical guy, okay? If you tell me something that makes sense, then I accept it. So the visual barrier is the other question that I have. So he's drawn that he's going to plant trees here. Now, is the visual barrier meant to be within or out or on his side of the setback?
I'm not sure what the
The
setback
question is, can he
requirements
plant the
for
trees
foliage
within
are.
25
I did not look at the requirements in the prior law
Yeah.
regarding the screening. I haven't looked at that.
Okay.
They do talk about infill. They talk about screening and infill. I would consider the infill
In
would
the
be.
87 law?
I'm sorry, no, I was looking at the current one also. So I don't know what the old one says.
Yeah, so I think that was the question. The current requirement is for the screening on Al's property in
But-
that buffer
That will be addressed more
through
in-
planning board.
at the siting plan, at the
Right.
site plan review, at the
Right.
planning board.
Right. Yeah, as far
So-
as I know, there's no variances required for the
No.
placement of the tree line. But that would be a requirement of the site plan. And so if you have comments on that, you could plan
Well,
on
my
attending.
comment is I'm happy to have a visual barrier. I would accept it within the
Okay.
25 feet.
Well, if you have any comments, I would ask that you direct them to the planning board because they're going to be the ones saying where everything physically can be on the
Gotcha.
property.
Gotcha,
Right.
okay. And so the final thing I also addressed with Al earlier and looking at the other maps and all, it's less of an issue. From this map, it looks like there's an infringement with his driveway back here on the southwest corner. So Al explained what that is, that he does not park any of the scrapyard vehicles there, or the used vehicles there. And so if that is true, then that concern goes away also.
Correct. If it's not used for the scrapyard purpose, it doesn't have to meet the scrapyard
Okay.
setbacks.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the map, and the map shows an infringement.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
This is the area.
Yep,
it's like right there.
yep, I see it right there.
And we stop.
And here's the,
Right.
That's the berm, yeah.
okay, well, right here is what we're talking about.
Right, and there's nothing that goes past right there.
Okay. Thank you for entertaining my questions.
Sure.
Any other comments? Any board members? April, any questions?
No comments or questions?
Okay, Paul?
No.
No, good. None.
Okay, there being no other comments, then I would move that we close the public hearing.
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay. We now
Okay.
have a...
so I will take a stab at reading my amended resolution.
I would move that we, I would move the resolution, and
Okay.
council, would you
Yes.
read that, please?
I will read that on your behalf, Mr. Chairman. All right. Okay. All right. Whereas the applicants, Al Hoteling and Lisa Schoonmaker, the property owners, have submitted an application for one variance, for an area variance to legalize an existing addition to a block garage at property located at 7 Beck Road, Poughkeepsie, in the town of Hyde Park, New York, identified as tax parcel number 6263-01-115657 in the Greenbelt zoning district, the site. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan entitled Amendment to Filed Map number 7984, Lot Line Alteration Minor Subdivision, dated January 23rd, 2024, and the amended site plan revised April 1st, 2025, prepared by Marie T. Welch, licensed surveyor. And whereas the applicants seek an area variance from zoning law section 108-5.15 to permit a side yard setback of 18.6 feet, where 25 feet is the minimum allowed, to legalize the existing location of an addition to a block garage. Whereas, in accordance with the Town Code and State Environmental Quality Review Act, the Planning Board is required to determine the classification of the proposed project as the lead agency. Whereas the applicant submitted a short EAF dated January 23rd, 2024, pursuant to SECRA. Whereas. All right. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267B of the Town Law and Hyde Park Zoning Law, Section 108-33.6B2, regarding the requested variances. 1, the requested variance, singular, will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood nor detriment to nearby properties. No physical change to the existing conditions of the property will result from the grant of the requested variance. The garage expansion is an existing accessory structure. The side yard, which is subject to the variance, is not adjacent, or is adjacent to property also owned by the applicants. The garage expansion is not visible from the road. Number 2. The benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than the requested variance. The requested variance is necessary for the applicants to keep the garage in its existing location. The addition could not have been constructed in front of the structure, as it would have blocked existing overhead doors and disrupted the present layout and function of the building. The applicants have applied for a lot line adjustment to further minimize the requested variance. Number 3, the requested variance is numerically substantial. Although the requested variance is numerically substantial, The applicants have minimized the variance to the extent possible by applying to adjust the location of the closest lot line. Moreover, applicants own the property adjacent to the nearest structure. Number 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. The requested variance will allow the garage structure to remain in its existing location, which to date has not had any impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the surrounding area. No impact will result from the requested variance. Number 5, the difficulties are self-created. All right, be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeal hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. Number 1, pursuant to section 108-33.5 F1, the authorized activity must commence within 1 year from the date of issuance, otherwise it is revoked. Number 2, filing of the revised subdivision plat with the Dutchess County Clerk's Office. Number 3, filing of the new deeds with the Dutchess County Clerk's Office. And number 4, payment of all fees in escrow. We had a motion from Dave. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All right.
Counsel, would you poll the board, please?
Certainly. Mr. Donnelly,
Yes.
Mr. Perkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bowen,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. McNary.
Yes.
All right.
Board
And
member-
April, would you like to?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. All right, motion carried. You are granted your variance. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pleasure dealing with you.
Been an adventure.
See you in another year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have the next on the agenda is a new public hearing.
Almost there.
Corsello at 13 Horseshoe Drive, Hyde Park. The council has was a public hearing notice published?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 16th, 2025.
Good, welcome. Then let's see, we've got a motion to open the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Well, welcome.
Well, thanks.
Hi. You are?
New Hyde Park resident of 3 years now.
Good.
Carol Coricello, owner
Welcome.
of 13 Horseshoe Drive.
Good, you can sit down. Yeah.
Thanks. So anyway.
All right, tell us about your project and why you seek this variance.
The project that I want to do, recently, last year, my neighbor who was there died, and I have new neighbors now. And we have a dog issue, which I'm an animal lover. I have a dog myself. They just continually, I don't know if you have a picture of how my house is set up.
Right, we do.
Right, I come out my kitchen door, which is where I had a gazebo behind my fence, which is now, actually the weather took it down anyway. But they just stay there and they're constantly as long as they can see me, they're barking. So basically, what I'm looking to do is to purchase a gazebo. You probably have a picture of one similar to this one, small.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be on the very top of my driveway, almost to my house, and that's why I'm asking for the variance. Basically, it would be like having my screened front porch so that they can't see me, and basically like it's like this is my driveway, and I have a long driveway. As a matter of fact, my front yard is probably one of the longest on Horseshoe Drive, and it would literally be, see where that gazebo over there, although mine would be white, it literally was right as you get to the top of my driveway, that one small corner there, and as you walk up my walkway. So literally I can come out my front door, walk 5 steps into a screen room, which would be very nice. And because the gentleman before me, all he ever did was garden. There's tons of flowers that go up, and then I have flowers all in the front now, they're all blooming. It would be part of the entire, it would look like a little park, pretty much. and then I would plan to put like rose bushes around it. It would not be, actually it will make my house that needed work, actually look better, because it would actually bring out, it will make my white house not look so older. So, but it would be also useful for me, because then I don't have a deck, and I don't have a front porch, so this would be, instead of trying to sit in my backyard next to where they can see me and bark all day, which all my neighbors now are like, I mean, the other night they were barking until 11 o'clock at night, and I wasn't even outside, but as long as I can hang out in the front, right now I'm sitting on my cement stoop and having my, iced tea or something, because if I sit on the side anymore, unless I go way in my backyard, which of course I'm not going to come out of my kitchen door with a sandwich and walk all the way in the back. So someone in the office also said, well, how about the other side of the house? I would never do that. This particular gazebo is going to be very well built.
As I looked at the front of your house, the dogs that you describe, are they in the house on the right or on the left?
When you're looking at my house,
Yes.
they're on the right
On the
outside
right.
my kitchen door.
Okay.
Right outside my driveway, like, my fence is not that far from where my kitchen door is, so they're literally right there.
Are they fenced in?
They're fenced in, we have a fence, and actually what happened was, the neighbor before me, he put in those privacy slats, which is nice, and it's great for people because you sort of have a little privacy, but when you have dogs that are this big, all they do is look right through it. There's no such thing of privacy from them. They can see right through it. Right now, to be honest, I have up some pretty ugly tarps. So this way, like that, I don't know if anybody can see that.
Okay.
I've actually put tarps on the inside, so this way, if I come out of my kitchen door, at least I can be right there and do something in my driveway. And if I'm quiet, they don't see me and they don't bark at me. So basically,
Have you called an animal warden, or do we have?
Yeah, we kind of mentioned, and if they hear them, and if they hear me actually go, can you please stop it, then they'll call them inside. But
No,
sometimes
I mean-
if they're inside,
I mean, have you called the animal warden who would come and talk to them?
no. Listen, I have a dog.
It's difficult, I know, but
Yeah, I'm trying, they're nice people, but I'm not one to be like a complainer. To me, they have the right to have their dogs in their fenced-in backyard. I get that. And they have a small child who's 7 years old, and, they're great parents and everything. It's just that I'm just trying to
they
figure
need
out
to learn
a
how
way.
to take care of dogs.
Pardon?
They need to learn how to take care
Oh,
of dogs.
no, you know what? They had one Comet, and he's an older dog, and he already was a barker. And then
Would it be feasible for you to totally enclose that side and essentially close the gaps in the fencing?
No, because what I would have to do is literally put a stocking. That side of the fence, actually Marie had put it up, and then the guy who owned my house put the actual slats in, so they shared the fence. I would literally have to go, and there's a huge tree that actually the roots come down and through the fence on the bottom, which means in order to put a stockade fence right up against it, I would have to destroy those roots. And, that tree is gorgeous. It's actually one of the only shade trees I have on the property.
Have you explored your options for fencing on that side of the property? Have you spoken to professionals about that?
My ex-husband was a fence guy. It's very simple. But yeah, they would have to, when the root base, if anyone came and looked, the root base is literally like this big of this tree. This tree is a maple tree. It's enormous.
But
And
the fence posts are going to be 8 or 10 feet apart, right?
Yeah, but they would have to go in.
Yeah, so they could put one fence post in the middle and one on the outsides. I don't think that would be a problem.
I don't know if even a stockade fence would fix the problem.
Have you looked at as I look at the house, the far left of your property in the back? As an
Yeah,
option?
okay. Someone had mentioned that before, so let me explain. if I was to want that there, okay, this particular gazebo that I want to purchase is really sturdy. It's made by the Amish. Basically, the people are delivering it like they do sheds.
Mhm.
It will come up my driveway, and literally, they will just put it right on that corner. I mean, serious, it is the corner of where my walkway actually meets. So when you see it, basically everyone driving down from Route 9 down, you're not even gonna see it unless you really turn around and look, because one of my front yard's one of the longest one. And it's literally right there, not far from my front porch. So if I had decided to put it over there, I'm gonna have to have a heavy-duty truck deliver this. And I don't want that. First of all, I'm closer to my other neighbor, and I love those guys, they're great. But that takes away their privacy, where this would give me privacy, the neighbors with the dogs privacy, and my other neighbors, who are like 30-something years old, their privacy. But the worst part of it is, this truck would have to go over my front lawn to actually deliver. Now, that's a heavy-duty truck, and it's going to be driving right over my gas lines.
Is there an alternative gazebo that you could seek that may be able to be constructed in the backyard?
No, they're all delivered like that. The only ones they have that are out there are like, you know, put together yourself.
Where is your septic and your septic fields
In the
located on
backyard.
the property? Okay.
Yeah. So it
To
will,
which side, the left or the right?
in the backyard,
Mm-hmm.
right outside, I would say between my kitchen and bathroom, right in the middle of the house, basically. So I wouldn't want any on trucks on my front lawn. You know, if gas lines were if it was too heavy and something were to break. I mean, I've already had Central Hudson there twice to check because I smelled gas, and they had to check, and it was the outside leak for a minute, and then they fixed it. But I would really worry if any big trucks were actually driving over that. Because, you know, I don't want damage, and then I don't have to tell you, you know, if you have a gas line that cracks and we don't know it, my house could go up, his house could go up, and this is just so simple and safe. You know, it's going on a driveway, no one's bothering it. and-
Let's see if we have some other, Paul, you have a question?
So you mentioned something about you don't want to obstruct your neighbor's view, but when I drove through the neighborhood, it looked like, if I'm looking at your front door, your neighbor to the left is kind of like on an angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So if you did put a gazebo there, if it's at an angle, they would have full view of that. So
No,
that might
That's not where
obstruct
it's
their view.
going, though. They won't even, basically, where
Was-
this one's going, his ring won't even see. I already talked to Alex anyway, and he was like,
But-
oh,
So if your house is here and this is an angle and yours gazebo's in the front yard, they're going to have full view
No.
of the gazebo.
he will not. And my other neighbors, the only way they will see it, which they already knew I was doing it, they would have, the only way they would see it is from their top window, their daughter's window. But other than that, they're not
So,
really seeing
yeah,
it.
because I drove through there, and if there was a gazebo in the front yard, it'd be
But it's not in
very.
the middle. It's
Yeah.
literally, do you have the picture there so I could just?
I just drove through the neighborhood, so I took. a
Okay,
couple-
well, when you
Yeah,
look
sorry.
at, if you look, you know where the flower patch is that
Yeah,
goes up?
yeah, I know
Okay.
where that is.
Well, that flower patch goes up. At the
Yeah.
very end of that flower patch, right there, right on that corner where the driveway meets my walkway, it would be there.
Yeah.
So Alex isn't really gonna see it at all. And the other neighbors aren't gonna see it either, except for the top window. And the people driving down the road, they're gonna have to actually look for it, because you don't really see unless you actually look for that corner. It's actually pretty private, that corner. That's why I like it. And in actuality, it's probably the most even part of my lawn. Because every house on there literally goes downhill slightly, you know, for rain. I have to say they did a really great job, because the rain all goes to the middle of the road, and nobody has any problems with water in their basements or anything, so they did a great job. But that one part, it literally will be part of that, as you said, you drove by, that whole section where there's nothing going to be but flowers. So it'll be part of the whole garden flower thing.
yeah, the dimensions of it were like what, 10 feet by what?
12 by 12 by 12?
It's 10 foot, yeah,
By,
by 12 height.
yeah. I think that would be very visible. Yeah, we should go see it. Yeah, yeah.
April?
How tall is your house?
How tall is my house? It's a ranch. I don't know. I guess the middle of it is, I have an attic. It's one floor. I have a full basement. I don't know. I'm a female. I don't, 20-something feet. I don't really know.
Are there any other gazebos in the neighborhood?
Any other gazebos? No,
yeah.
but I think around the corner, there's a guy, I know there's one on, what is that, Pine Road? Where he literally has this enormous front porch, and then he has a gazebo built into the front porch. And I thought I seen one down the road somewhat, maybe 3 streets down, on one, maybe it could have been Mansion Street or something like that. Normally people, I mean, instead of me building an entire front porch and then adding something on the corner, this would just be part of what a front porch could be. Like my neighbor has a front porch, and when that front porch comes out, the width of that front porch,
This is not attached to the house.
Those are variable.
not gonna be house, no, it's gonna be,
Okay, all right. I'm curious about the character of the neighborhood in terms of the houses that are in your block. Is there anybody else that has anything in the front yard?
Any accessory structures, pools, anything like that?
no, we have pools,
Sheds.
pools in backyards, we have front porches, everybody. My neighbor across the street, Ann, they have on the side of their house, because they're a corner, they have a huge screen room. I don't know.
But it's attached to the
Attached to
dwelling,
the
right?
house.
Okay.
Mhm, yeah. But they have fences and they have all that, and, I mean,
I guess what I'd like to suggest, because I hear your request here, is for us to come and look at the site, just to get a feel for it, because I think you've described it a lot.
actually, I did that with all my neighbors, because what I did was, the plants were starting to grow there, but what I actually did was I took rocks and put them all around exactly what 10 foot would be, and they came and go, oh, well, this is, every neighbor that I looked at, they went, this is fine with me. I mean, you have gazebos everywhere, because one thing about a gazebo, unlike a front porch, or like just a plain deck, which I know, I have neighbors that have front decks. They just do a deck on there. They're actually pretty. They're actually, they're parks. That's what they do. This would be more part of the garden.
Right.
It would be like, okay, like you have an older one sitting right out here in the middle of nowhere. Why did you put that? Well, you put it because it's cute to sit in. It does give shade, which this will give me shade, which I don't have anywhere. But it's also pretty. It's also something that looks nice.
Yeah. What I'd like to suggest is that we, a number of us, have an opportunity to come and look at your front yard and look at the neighborhood, because I think it's important that we have a sense of the context. I think you've explained exactly. Now, this will not be attached to your house, is that correct?
No.
It will be in front of the walk that goes by your front house?
It will be literally, if you look.
I have a picture here. Do you
Okay,
want?
can I walk up
Sure,
there?
come up,
Okay.
yeah.
It'd be a lot easier if I can put it down.
Just make sure you bring your microphone so that the recording can pick it
Yeah,
up.
just bring that portable one, yeah.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to do that, sorry.
Okay, so you're talking about right here. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
exactly, which is that. So, yeah, my house is right here. See the walkway?
Right.
That gazebo will actually be in this corner. Stuff to my-
Okay. And you,
So this house is not going to,
Oh, no, Alex already went, he have no clue. Because his house faces here, this is a very strange piece of property, I gotta say. As a matter of fact, there have been times where I cut his grass, because these guys are, humble. But he cracks up because I'm a gardener, so I'm always out in the yard. And he goes, yeah, I seen you yesterday morning, because he has his ring, and his ring is always going on. I said, sorry, I can't help it. But no, his doorway's here, so when he's looking at my property here. And when here with all their friends smoking, they don't really see me here either because I have bushes here. So basically, this is pretty, it's kind of hidden in its own thing. See this bush right here? This actually was half of a Christmas tree that's been taken out.
Okay.
So it's literally right here.
Okay.
It's going to
Right.
be
And the-
touching the driveway and touching the wall.
And the fence goes along, is this the tree you were talking about? Or is
No,
it?
no, that tree is here.
Okay,
That's
so
a-
your
a
tree is
regular-
in here.
Yes, the tree belongs to them,
Okay.
not me.
Okay, all right.
And this is where my fence is.
And how far does your fence go? Does it go to about
It
here?
goes all the way, my entire property is
And
fenced in.
the septic, can you
Here.
point to it?
Where does it, up here
My
though? Where?
septic is right here.
Yeah, where does it,
I know, I dug it out last year.
where does it start?
Right
Put it like back here where the dogs wouldn't be able to see. See.
Yeah.
Please use the microphone.
Yeah,
Oh.
microphone.
Oh, sorry, okay. Right here,
Yeah.
okay. This is all fenced in. Okay, so, and if I was to put it here,
Does your fence go to here?
no, it ends.
It's right here?
It ends right here,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So this is my kitchen door. So when I come out of the kitchen, they're right here, literally right here. And if I sit here and I'm quiet, because I put the tarps up, they don't see me. So when I hang out now, most of the time I hang out right on my stoop and sit there.
I thought the dogs were on this side.
No, they don't have any dogs.
On this side.
The dogs are right here.
Okay.
They're right exactly here. Now, like I said, I've heard Alex and them, they're like, "Pfft, looks like it'll be pretty on it. Because this is right now, looks like nothing, but right now it's all
I
flowers.
see even a shorter distance of the fence on that side.
Now here, this is where my gas lines go. My gas lines go from here, okay? And they go straight through here. So if I was to put anything here, I have to drive, because this is where the telephone pole is the start of their property. So they'd have to literally drive over my gas lines.
The dogs on this side right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do they run over here too?
No, they're
Or they-
fenced
Oh,
here.
so it stops here.
Yes, but
Alright.
this is open because it's their fence. I can't do anything with that. So even when I come out and I walk here, as soon as I'm here, that's it. They see me and that's it. And they nonstop. Matter of fact, yesterday, I was back here talking to my neighbor Shannon, and she said, oh yeah, I heard them. And she said, anytime she's anywhere around this area, the dogs are going nuts. So she screamed, and if you scream, then they bring them in. If you don't scream, then they don't. And that's it. It's like they hear them, they hear them, they hear them, my neighbors near them. None of my neighbors have a
None of them
problem.
want to call the ASPCA to address it, because there are, I think, ordinances when it comes to dogs.
Yes, but ordinances usually after 10 o'clock at night, you're not supposed to make noise. They have a right, I get that. I'm just trying to avoid any hassles. Matter of fact, I'm getting used to the tarps on my fence because my new husband said, no, he hates them because he says, that looks so disgusting. I said, well, I'm not looking at them anymore. I used to have a gazebo here, one of those, $300 ones that you put up.
Okay.
The winter took it down, but
What I think we need to do is we need to come and take a look.
Mhm.
Take a little
Because
tour.
you've
We're gonna
explained
have
it,
site
I think you've explained it well.
Mhm.
And so what we'll do is we'll just continue the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman,
till yes,
sorry, just, because, the public hearing is now open, you may want to see if there's anyone just,
Is there, yeah, okay.
okay.
Is there anybody here from
speak
the
on this
public who would like to
application.
make comments? I don't think we've received any comments in written form at this point. I don't believe we have.
And then, you may want to entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing
Yeah.
to the next date, which would
Right,
be.
yeah.
I make a
May
motion
28th.
that we adjourn to
Okay.
May 28th.
So here's a question for you. Then what meeting was I supposed to go to in 2 weeks? The reason every time I've talked to
Site
Kath.
plan waiver.
Okay.
She's in a historic overlay district, so she needs a site plan waiver if you grant the variance.
Is that a really bad thing now too?
Another delay.
She can proceed with that regardless of our
They're not
delay.
going to waive site plan until they grant the variance.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll just be pushed out another month.
Another
So
2
what you're
weeks.
telling me is I'm going to have to wait another month to come to another hearing?
Yep.
Here.
Correct,
For
yes. So we have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to May 28th. Do we have a second?
Second. It's, April 2nd.
April?
Is there anything
All in
else?
favor?
The reason I'm,
Aye.
I'm not trying to push this, but you realize because this is something that you order, and I would like to be able to enjoy it if I'm going to be able to have it at all. I mean, all my neighbors are fine with it because they're like, what do I care? I'm not going to hardly see it. But the thing
Please
is,
understand that a variance is a permanent thing. It goes with the house. And a dog is temporary, gazebo, not so
dogs are temporary, except that these dogs are now
Well,
5 months old.
Just to be clear, one of the factors that the zoning board has to find legally is that there is no other feasible alternative for you to pursue other than this exact location. So that's what they're gonna go do their due diligence to find out.
We can't speed it up at all.
Because by the time I order this, it's still 6
We sympathize
weeks.
with you, but we still have to follow our protocol.
Okay. Well, then I guess there's nothing else I can do.
Okay, but you've explained it well and your reasoning, and I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. So
Thank-
I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we move to a new application, the hospice, 542 Violet Avenue. And this is not a public hearing at this point. Well, welcome back. We haven't seen you for a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yes, and the place looks pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
And you've been busy. And
Yes,
you've been
we have been.
advertising.
Yeah. I appreciate your comment.
How is it, has it proven to be as successful as you'd hoped?
Well, it's successful from the perspective of being able to take care of patients that
Right.
need to use the house.
Yeah, it's a very difficult time for people.
Right.
But,
I would speak to that, and that I had the opportunity, my niece was there, and you guys were terrific. You made the end life experience so much better than a hospital or any place else.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that as well. It's much better than a hospital.
Yeah. Okay, you have come today in terms of, you're requesting a variance to add, what, another 2,000?
15 parking spaces.
15 parking spaces. Okay. In terms of, I looked at, I don't have it with me now, but a map, where are you going to put it?
On the south side of the building, right?
You already have parking on the south side, don't you?
No.
No,
No.
most of
It's,
the parking is on the west and on the north. There's a small amount in the south.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
So there'll be, along the drive, you're just pumped out, so you can pull right in.
Right.
It's gonna be, they're gonna be pavers, so it's not gonna be blacktop, it's gonna be pavers.
Okay, do we have a?
That's a planning board issue, but I still like to present that to pavers.
yeah,
Yeah.
we supplied a site plan.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
copy here if you need it.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
We
do we have it?
have them, we've just not. Here.
April, so he's here. Here's North Street at the page, you're right there, or right there.
These are
Here's
new
the
ones,
entrance
right?
as you come in. Yes, these are new. And here's the Route 9G, and then the main entrance, that's the South Drive.
So these are the new ones here. Okay.
Yep, this is a big scale, this is the detail.
Excuse me. You have a large landfill here. Is this
This over here is a septic system.
septic over there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right in here.
And that's going to intrude.
No, it won't touch it.
No,
It's
no.
all over here, we can't touch it.
Excuse me.
Wouldn't be allowed.
I'm so excited, I'm sneezing.
I feel this is the less intrusive on the site
Yeah.
for minimum area disturbance. It's area that was previously disturbed when we built. So it's the least amount of disturbance, and it's best screened by everything. And since we're doing pavers, it's the less impact on the environment.
So you put pavers down. Tell us about the drainage, how it's going at this point.
It's drainage down the road through a grass swale into a bioretention pond here.
Oh, sorry.
Microphone.
There, Joe.
I'll drag mine over. So currently, the stormwater from this road drains down through a grass swale, down along which would be the south and easterly side of the drive into a bioretention pond right here. That's going to continue to do the same thing.
Okay.
Right here, these pavers really won't produce any more runoff because they're pavers. So the runoff that does come off, which will be pretty much the same as today, will continue to drain down this grass swale.
Right, so no more impervious surface.
No, well, it's a different
It's
type.
Semi, yeah.
With this, we're using pavers to simulate grass condition,
Certainly.
is what they do.
Okay.
And we feel that's where it was disturbed before, so it's basically, and we feel it's the best place for it. And, the reason the 15 parking spaces are because the project is, we need the extra spaces for the family members that are coming. Those of you who've gone through this, it's a very, very difficult time for family members.
Where do they
through
park
it.
now?
And,
In the driveway.
well, we did as most,
parked here.
we had to come here before for scale before. And we were asked what we thought we would need. So we got the scale for what we thought we would need. I don't want to use the word business as good because for this business, that's not a good thing to say. But we want to be able to take care of the family members who come. So if someone is dying and 5 people want to come visit, we don't want to discourage them from coming. And we are currently needing 15 more spaces to accommodate the people who are coming here in a very terrible time in their life. It's not,
You have 14 rooms, correct?
yes, there's 14.
How's your census?
It's 13.
I mean, they're performing a service, which is needed, as you know,
question about
definitely needed. And the nice thing about it is that people are coming to spend the time with their family members and just not dropping them off. And again, when we were here before, the reason we need 15 now, as you said to the last person, scale and variance, we're supposed to do the minimum we need. At the time we came before you years ago, we thought, based on studies, the 30,000, we shouldn't ask for one more than what the studies showed. So we asked for and got a 30,000 square foot, up to 30,000 variance.
How big is the property?
A little under 7 acres.
Yes.
Okay. And some of this is woods and back in here, you still have some,
The woods are pretty much back here. This is lawn here, this is woods right here.
okay.
So from this in here is pretty much woods, but from this angle in here, right here was a septic system.
Okay.
And this right away is to Dorsey.
Yeah, that goes out the door, so we don't touch that. That's left alone. The people
Is it
over
right
there-
away?
It's actually not right away, it's ownership. It's fee owner. It's too small, they had built a road over there, and it would have
Okay.
been, when we designed this to begin with, that was thought about at the planning board, but then disturbing the people here, we felt that was residential. We came out on the state road for a lot of reasons, it's better.
You've got the
So we left that
new
on.
one here.
Dollar General's right there.
Right.
Yeah. So this land is basically just all woods right here left, so the
And
neighbors
I
aren't
see-
disturbed.
I see a sidewalk right this. People go to Dollar General and get it.
Oh, they're walking in, yeah, well, yeah, that's not much we can do about that.
Any issues with drainage or water in terms of the neighbors? You got 2 neighbors here, I think, and then,
They're uphill, they drain onto us. We don't drain onto
No, the
them.
issue is complaint from neighbors downstream from us.
So all the way up here, these drain through our site. These here actually drain this way onto East Dorsey and down the road. Right in here, drain onto our site. This here is lower than, so this drains onto us. Right in here, this entire area, including this new parking, will drain directly into the bioretention. There will be no off-site from
so
this.
all the
And
drainage
it's the same pattern as
either
is
comes to
today.
you or goes off
Yeah,
on
there's like
Dorsey?
the ridge is right about here.
Okay.
And it goes more like right here, and this all drains right into us. And these, again, this drainage will stay the
Okay.
same. We're not changing it at all.
And you're looking for absorption here.
The bioretention will take care of it and then drain downstream as it does.
This is pervious though with your
Or the pavers are porous, yeah, the water goes through because you've seen them. They're the blocks with the holes in the center and the gravel. The water goes into the gravel.
right. So
It actually will, in theory, there should be less runoff. But in practicality,
I guess
over
my
time, they
question,
fill in, so they're
Chad,
safe.
if they're not asking for more impervious.
No.
No,
No.
they're asking for an increase in scale,
Scale
not
only.
impervious.
Yeah, it's just a scale,
Okay.
because scale includes parking spaces regardless of what they're made of.
All right, okay.
It's a scale plus building size equals scale. It doesn't give you a credit if your parking actually was porous. That would be nice if you did. Something to think about.
Excellent, okay. Questions?
Thanks for this,
I
that's
think
very
what-
helpful to
I
see
think what
that.
we'd like to do then is we'll set a public hearing for next month and see if we can help you move along.
All right, we have a motion from
Wait.
David and Richard.
Motion to set a public hearing for the May 28th
Correct.
meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, just before we move
Joe?
on, we need a motion to,
I think we have one.
Need a
I'm
motion
not
to-
sure.
here, wait.
We just didn't open it.
Can we,
Sorry, just before you go, just so you know, we need a motion to refer the project to the county for 239M review.
okay, I
So
would
the
move
plan
that we
goes back,
refer
right?
this to the county for
I think it's just one for
239M.
239M.
Yep.
I would make a resolution. Is there a second on
Yeah.
that?
Second.
All right, thank
Thank
you,
you.
April.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Can we come and visit you?
I think Kathleen has
No, I'm
them,
serious.
so she'll be able to put them together. Yep,
Yeah.
we're all
How
set,
do-
thank you.
How
then.
do you arrange
I'm sure
that?
she'll follow up if we need something else.
Okay,
The nature of the building.
right,
But we have tours every once in a while.
okay, okay. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Okay, okay.
Give you my card.
You got it. That's all right. We'll find it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
Yep.
All right.
Last but not least.
And last but not least,
Good evening.
we have a new application, Anderson Center.
Nope, sorry, it's an extension request.
I'm sorry, an extension. And we need to open, this is not a public hearing.
Nope.
So we have not sent out anything. Okay.
So we set the meeting for,
Well,
well, let them talk.
yeah.
Good evening, Brian Watts from Days Tacosa Engineering, here on behalf of Anderson School.
We've seen you before.
Yes, sir.
This is to extend the permit, or the variance.
The variance for the wall that we're proposing at the front entrance, the main
Right.
entrance to
And
the
I've been
school.
looking for it, and what seems to be the problem?
It is part of the site plan application, and one of the items for site plan approval and signature is the wastewater treatment plant. And it's been just a long lead time with the manufacturer on their system to get the engineering drawings, any revision of those, regulatory review.
Okay.
So we actually got our first
Gate right there.
concrete comments by the end of last year, which actually was already at the expiration of the site plan with the planning board.
Okay.
First review took 6 months, back and forth, and
Okay.
that's
Is there any change in the plans? Same?
same wall, same location, same materials,
Okay.
same intent to relocate any of the dry stacked walls along the road
Okay.
further out to make them more appealing and look
Okay.
like it's
Beautiful.
together.
Okay, any questions?
No question.
I would just note, Mr. Chairman, on your chair agenda, there's a motion to refer the project for the county for further review.
Right.
It's my opinion that that is not necessary for the extension because the county has already commented on the original
Okay, all right,
project.
then we want to,
No change.
no change in that. Okay, all right. So we need to then set a public hearing.
Yep.
I would move that we set a public hearing for this for May 28th.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we will hear you in May and see if we can get this thing moving. We're anxious to find out where you are.
I hope so. Once the wastewater treatment plant is approved in the regulatory realm, that should be it with our site plan. We've already met with Pete and Tad at the town for the stormwater. I think we've got that worked out, not too much there. So, I mean, it's really
Is
just,
there anything else that's is sort of dragging you on this?
It's just the regulatory approval for the wastewater treatment plant. That's wrapped into the site plan approval, which to get signatures, to get started.
Okay, okay, good, all right. I think we look forward to seeing you next month.
See you next month.
All right. Maybe the video guy too?
We're anxious, we're anxious to, yeah, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business before this august body? I don't think so. There not being any, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All right, we're giving it to
All in
Jerry.
favor? Aye.
And you'll get the second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Oh.
Aye.
Aye.